Hey, welcome to the Career and Technical Education Podcast. I'm Brandon Grace.
No, I'm Randall Hust.
And today we have the one and only Miss Kayleen McCabe. Oh, no.
Hello.
It's going the wrong way. It's going the wrong way. Hit the wrong button. There you go. There you go. Miss Kayleen McCabe. There she is. She's on with us virtually up in Denver. How are you doing today, Kayleen?
I am absolutely fabulous. I'm so excited to be hanging out with you two. This is something I've been looking forward to for a while.
Awesome. Well, we're glad you're here. So tell us a little bit about you and what you do with construction and your history of Kayleen.
Yeah. Okay. The elevator speech is, I grew up around construction. My dad was a welder. My mom was a nurse, and didn't really understand that you could do anything. And I didn't really think of it ever as a career. It was just all the stuff we did around the house. And it wasn't until I was in my 20s that I actually started working behind the scenes on a TV show and realized, I love construction. What I'm meant to be doing with my life is working with my hands, building pretty things. And it's become a passion and then an obsession after that. So after working in TV and realizing this is what I needed to do, I then became sort of possessed by the notion that I needed to share with everyone that this is a great career. Are you breathing? Come join us. There's so many different opportunities. The technology is cool and always changing. And so it's been a wild ride of an adult adventure. I mean, I've also had other weird jobs. I was a 911 dispatcher and a call-in psychic, which I can tell your viewers know I wasn't good at it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So whenever you you were on TV, you did the TV show stuff for a little bit. You were on, was it Trading Spaces? Which one was it? I can't remember which one it was.
I was a production assistant on Trading Spaces.
That's right.
And then did a bunch of other shows from, buying glue sticks or helping build stuff. And then I eventually had my own television show on the DIY network called Renovation. But I've done a bunch of other shows too. I think right now I'm still on the History Channel on Tools That Built America, which was kind of a fun thing. I got to geek out. Sorry, guys.
Oh, you're good.
Okay, sorry. Oh, well, I took a phone call and I tried to hang up on it. Sorry, no.
It's all good.
I don't know why it won't go the other direction. Well, okay.
That works too.
That's a picture of my computer. I don't know why this isn't working.
No, it looks good on our side.
Yeah, you look great.
Does it?
Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah.
All right, good, because it's totally messed up on my phone, but I can't see you guys anymore. All right, I'm so sorry. This is where I learned that I love construction so much. That's more of my jam than technology, obviously, with this. So it's been a wild ride. I really love it. But I think at some point we're all artists. Just find your medium. Some people might find food. Some folks might find cars or welding. Yeah, that's it. That's why I love your podcast with CTE, because that's everything. That's life.
Right. And so you've been, and that's part of the reason why we started it. We kind of just did it on a whim of just trying to learn how to, we just, something we thought about doing for a couple of years, and we're just like, hey, let's just do it. And we just started doing it. And this is actually a closet in my classroom is where we're at right now. But so you are super involved with CTE across the nation, doing all sorts of different things, involved with Skills USA. I see your Skills USA hat on right there, repping it. And then you also have, you're involved with ACTE and a bunch of other things. Tell us a little bit about your philanthropy work with them and helping out, those organizations to grow.
Yes. Oh, I came across Skills USA a few years ago. And for those folks who aren't aware of this group, which it blows my mind that some people aren't, because, all right. First of all, I met these students and they came up to me and asked, what do I do for a career? And I told them that I am a framer. And instead of getting like you're a framer, I got, I work in HVAC and I work in automotive. And I immediately knew I had found my friends, the friends that I wish that I had in high school. And growing up, just the other artists and craft professionals who are really passionate about it. So that's where my love for Skills USA started. And I'm fortunate enough that I get to support some state conferences, some regional events. I'm going to nationals this year to cheer on everybody. And I just look at this organization as they're getting great careers, but also learning leadership and how to communicate. So there's a lot more to it than just the competitions. It's all the other stuff. So do a lot of work with them. I love ACTE as well, supporting the teachers and the educators behind all of this stuff. For me, yeah, cool. I want people to work in construction, but in reality, these teachers are teaching life skills. It's how to problem solve, how to communicate, how to critically think, how to fail, how to start over again. And these are life skills that maybe we're teaching through sawdust or through baking powder, but these are things we want just good humans to have. So do a lot of work with that. And then I do have two nonprofits. So one is the McCabe Foundation, where I support students and veterans. And my big push now is getting them into the trades, but also with students reading. I'm really concerned about the reading levels of our young students. So I'm starting to read a lot to elementary school kids. And if you need a list of books that I'm reading, I got you on that.
That's awesome.
And especially our veterans too. If you've made it through basic training, you're going to thrive in the world of construction. And I say construction, but I also mean the trades in general. And then my other nonprofit is the Next Steps Foundation, where I talk directly to parents for free and let them know, like, all right, these are the statistics on what's happening right now. Like, did you know that the student loan interest rate is going to 6%? That's a tremendous burden to have for life on debt that you can never foreclose on or get rid of. So talking to parents about the reality of education after high school. You are setting your child up for success if you're promoting them to go into the trades and not college right away. So, really giving them support. And what's cool about it is we have a lot of experts that talk. And then after this 30-minute presentation, parents have the ability to then meet local business and industry and say, we heard what that lady said, but really, 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 my child's super special and they're super smart and should go to college. And that's where employers get to say, but wait, have them come work with us. We're going to train them. And then we could pay for their education later. So I really am. Are you breathing? Come join us. I'll harass anybody about this. So I just started nonprofits to justify it.
I love your story where you talked about growing up, and I was watching one of your videos, and you talk about how early you were underneath a car. I think at like 4 or 5 years old, and you're out there helping your dad and your grandpa. And not every kid has that opportunity, especially not every girl. So I'd be curious to know what obstacles have you overcome to get not only to where you're at, but to become such an advocate for the trades as a female in the trades. What did that look like throughout your life?
For me, it was never about being a female. One part of it is I'm an only child, so I'm kind of weird. And I'm a duck. I just let a lot roll off my back. So if there were ever haters along the way, I didn't hear them or I didn't pay attention. Especially being a teenage girl, people will talk snot all the time. Are you going to listen to it, engage, or are you going to just put it aside and realize that's somebody else's opinion and move on and just go do your own thing? So I'm really fortunate in that sense. My parents supported anything I wanted to do. Like, I wish we have time. I do have pictures of me saying next to old Studebakers with my dad. I have a picture. I tell a story too that we put up a big fence, and I thought the proper way to check the post hole depth is just put a tiny child into the hole and never stick her arms up. He's like, that's 36 inches. I'm like, oh, okay. Years later, I found out about a tape measure. So I think some of the obstacles that people might face now that I didn't is there is sort of an expectation sometimes with newer folks going into the industry that they should immediately be respected. And when I went into my careers, and all my careers have been male dominated. I was a 911 dispatcher and a probation officer for a long time, then went into television, which is also male dominated. My whole crew was guys. And then construction, so also male dominated. And so my mindset is you always go into a situation to earn respect of everybody. And all the industries that I was in too were also very skills based. And it's not about like, do you like me or I like you? I'm like, can you do the work? Will you keep me safe as somebody working? So I think we need to start emphasizing more that everybody is going to have a first day of work. You always get nervous on like, where do you eat lunch? Where do you park? But you have to earn respect. And part of that comes through being humble and listening, which is also a skill we need to practice more in general as a public instead of just tweeting our thoughts.
Right.
But I'm very lucky. And, even the crews that I've worked with, the best I've been treated has been on construction sites. The worst I've been treated is in office situations. And maybe it's because I'm loud and I don't like to sit, but I'm definitely more comfortable in it's just very honest. The guys I've worked with don't hold grudges and don't plot.
Right.
Plot your demise. So yeah, thanks for asking that question, because I have been often, and I think that it's always the expectation that I'm supposed to answer on like, oh, it was so hard being a female and I really struggled, and I didn't.
Awesome.
But also I had expectations. I did have one guy say some inappropriate things to me, and I immediately told him how that was unacceptable and it was never going to happen again. So
Yeah.
That's
You gotta
that's
stand
my
your
2
ground.
cents on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to. And that's just life.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's called communicating.
Well, and I love that people like you are blazing the trail. We actually, one of our high school campuses here in Lubbock ISD is an all-girl campus, and the valedictorian of that campus this year was also a welder here at the ATC, which is amazing. 4 years ago, the valedictorian was in my construction class. So, I mean, those girls are doing the same thing, and they're following after visions of people like you, which is amazing.
And they're going to have such opportunities for success. Anybody is, in honesty. The industry is completely opening up, but I have CEOs of companies, especially you look at Miller Electric and Lincoln Welding, saying we want female welders. And it's because we need both men and women on construction sites. Sometimes women, our attention to detail is much finer, and we need that as welders. So, there's a place for everyone and everyone to thrive too.
I appreciate what you mentioned too, that it's just as important, the reading and different aspects of that, because it does seem like we've lost that. A kid will end up going one direction or the other, and then that's the focus, and so they just kind of write. A lot of times I see them write trades kids off as, oh well, they'll be fine, they'll be carpenters and whatever. But the reality is, like, there's so much of that in the trade, whether it be math or reading or writing, any of that kind of stuff that you just have to do on a daily basis. And so continuing to incorporate that as a part of their training is so important. So I appreciate you focusing on that as well.
Big time. And I'm really energized by seeing some school districts start to realize that if you have a student in a trade program, that should also count for their math credit, or reading credit. I built what's behind me, and this is math and it's hard. I do trig with my hands all day long and power tools. So, I see that's starting to change a little bit, but a lot of our educators are in the educated system and don't realize how really, really smart people in the trades are. I mean, wicked smart. Again, and then we get to translate with our hands and power tools. So it's starting to change, which is really refreshing.
And even more than just the intelligence, as you've mentioned a couple of times, the art and the craftsmanship. I think in one of your videos you said you can make the thing hanging on the wall, or you can make the wall, right? Like it's that important, which I think is a really cool part too.
Yeah, and that's I think we can get more people hooked into the industry if they realize that it's a lot of art. We really are artisans. And then the other way I think we get people hooked on the industry is show them the technology coming into it. I have this is my hard hat, and this is basically cool. HoloLens on the front. And I look like Minority Report. I can type with my hands.
That's
so if you have a kid who's using an Oculus or some sort of video game system, it's like, okay, do you want to really create and then use the stuff you already like? Mm-hmm. Come join us.
Right. And drones are such a huge part of the construction industry now too. So that's a big aspect.
Huge. And, some students now are able to get their drone license in high school.
We do that here.
license.
Yep, we do that here.
We just started it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Bravo. And I hope that a lot of people listening to this either have students that they encourage to get that, because the cost savings alone.
Oh, yeah.
And Um, Trimble, the company with this hard hat, has drones and surveying equipment, and those are really high paying jobs.
Yeah.
So out of the bat, and this notion that you can't be successful if you graduate high school and do anything else, just go to the trade.
Oh no,
Oh, you froze.
we lost her.
Where'd she go?
Oh,
Oh, you're back.
I'm still here.
Oh, you're
Oh,
back.
there you are.
Yeah, you came back.
Hi. I haven't touched anything again.
That was funny.
No, it's not me. I feel like Dr. Graham in Jurassic Park. I'm like, no, Grant. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So there's also I saw a deal where you or on Facebook or one of your Instagrams or something, I don't remember, but you go out to like elementary schools or something and teach them how to build using tools, and you build. I can't remember everything about it because it's been a while since I looked at it. Can you tell us a little bit about that? How that came about?
Yeah. That oh my gosh. I had the opportunity to start this adventure during COVID on a way to put to use some Home Depot kits that had really no use at the time. And so the program has changed names a few times. Right now I'm calling it Tiny Toolbox. But the premise is I started it with teaching kids how to build a tiny toolbox at home, like virtually, which, hey, if you ever want to get parents really, really engaged with what their kids are doing online, put them in front of a computer with a hammer and parents are right there. And these are like second and third graders. And so I was able to do that. And I did got quite a few thousand kits. And I'm really proud to say the only nails that were hit were metal ones. So, but then I looked at this and I'm like, okay, this is cool because I think it's really important in that second to third grade age to make fractions realistic. And so I wanted to make sure that they're understanding, because at the end of this program, I talk about like, did you have fun building this? Yeah. Raise your hand if you like cookies and cakes, music, building stuff, like what all these things have in common. And it's really fun because the students will answer like, oh, it's art or it's science, but then we all come back, it's math. And fractions aren't that scary. You eat them in cookies, you sing them with music, and you can build with them. Ta-da, it's great. But then I'm like, okay, that's a pretty cool program. There was a good jumping off point for some of the teachers then to take that program and run with it. But I wanted to make it better. So what I've started to do is I find high schools that have a CTE woodworking program, and I have them hire me, or I hire them to build me my kits, X number of kits. And it's a pretty simple build, but it's also then giving the high school students the opportunity to learn how to communicate with an adult in a professional manner, maybe through email or gasp, using a telephone. um, and then also how to budget, how to do cut sheets, how to show your math and work behind it. And then I take all those high school kids with me, and then we go to the elementary school. We teach the second and third graders, because then there's the hope that those little kids will see the high school students. So there's some mentorship, like conversation happening. And then it's a great point too for the teacher to go in and introduce themselves to the little kids and be like, I will be your math guru out of sawdust someday, or whatever. And just starting that conversation, making it fun. And I love it. Yeah, that one's I'm kind of addicted to. And I mean, I feel like one of the few people on earth who's had the opportunity to hear 400 tiny hammers going at the same time. Oh, it's a symphony. It's so joyous.
A symphony.
That's awesome. Love it. I wish we could bottle your passion. I'm telling you, this is amazing. What things are headed for Kayleen in the future?
Okay, so I'm trying to still figure that out because I'm very passionate about it. Before COVID, I was doing around 300 trips a year for about 10 years.
Oh, wow.
And I was talking to about 50,000 students a year, sharing my story. And it made an impact. I'm proud to say I still get messages from people be like, I saw you speak and it kind of put me on a new trajectory, which, makes my soul sing. That's powerful stuff. But I don't feel like I'm still doing enough. So my next big passions, I became a chaplain recently. And part of that's because I was a 911 dispatcher for a long time. I had to deal with a cacophony of real terrible events. But right now in the industry for construction, our suicide rate is super high. And there's a lot of factors to it. But I wanted to put more tools into my tool belt on how to bring awareness to this crisis, and then also bring more words into my brain to actually communicate to people. So that's one, is really, just bringing it out in the open and talking about these things. It's not a secret anymore. We can now talk about it. And then the other one is, I'm really concerned about the reading rate in the US. I saw some statistic that was like 56% of adults only read at a sixth grade level. And I read a lot. I think that's a great way to further yourself in life. And if we can't read and we're not promoting this, what kind of workforce are we going to have in the future? So
Right.
I'm doing a lot of virtual events where I'm just reading to kids, goofy books. And like one of my new favorites is Dragons Love Tacos. Right?
Of course they do.
Check it out.
It's a good one, actually. I've read it.
Yeah, I love it. So that's where I'm going, but then also trying to balance it with real life. It's summertime in Colorado, so I need to golf. I need to hike.
Yep.
I need to go, fling my car off a mountain off-roading.
Love it.
Trying to stuff like that. But I'm possessed by it. I really think that the trades could save the world if more people worked with their hands and gave service to others in some sort of volunteer capacity. We would really see a change in our society.
Absolutely. And focusing on mental health, whether it be in students all the way through adults, is huge. And I appreciate you using your platform to help both of those causes, because they do go hand in hand for sure.
Yeah.
One thing, so a couple of years ago or several years ago, you spoke at our conference, and it was probably, honestly, in my opinion, was one of the best speeches or keynotes that we've ever had, because it was engaging, it was fun, it wasn't 9 hours long. And I still have my cowbell. But so what really you have the passion to grow, the trades, and to be a mentor, and to really push others to get into the field of construction or any of the trades, really. So what really drove you to start doing public speaking and doing it that way?
I don't shut up. In fact, this is my coffee cup. Blah, 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 blah.
That's awesome. Might as well make a living at it.
Yeah, exactly. How it actually started was, I quit television. I quit my show because I realized I had no control over the edit. And I don't know, there was just a lot of drama, and I wasn't doing, like, I thought I was going to have a TV show and have this platform where people would watch it and really walk away with rich knowledge. And we didn't share that because I had people editing the show that weren't in construction. And it was like, okay, so I was still under contract with Scripps Network, and they were flying me all over the country for, basically, I would come in and be like a show pony. I do magic tricks, tell dumb jokes, whatever. And I'm like, okay, if I'm going to travel around, let me leverage this as best as I can. So I'd Google search what schools are close to me. I would call the high school and say, hi, I think I'm famous. Can I come talk to your kids? And then they'd let me in. And
School safety and security.
I would do assemblies. Yeah. I would do assemblies because I thought it was really important for students to hear from somebody younger who made it. At that point, I had my own TV show, and I didn't go to college. I was in college long enough. I was in college for, I think, half a year. My claim to fame is I was the secretary of the Mystery Science Theater 3000 Club of Colorado. Like, that's pretty cool, but not realistic for a career. But they needed to start hearing this. Students need to start hearing that, and this was even before we really started to talk about what great pay there is and the benefits. They just need to know that you aren't a failure if you don't go to college,
right,
that you can take that chip off your shoulder and thrive and go on with your life and make great money, but you aren't lesser than somebody who does. And I'm still annoyed because I do a lot of, speaking events, and they're like, oh, it's like, oh, you could go to college or you could do this. I'm like, we have to start saying you go to college and do this. You can do a trade and go to college. We have to stop saying it's either or, because it's this elitism. So I started just doing enough events, and I think it really started with ACTE that some counselors saw me speak to their school, and then I got roped into that, and then I met Skills USA, and now actually I think I'm going to be speaking in Ireland for
Oh wow.
Skills Ireland, and then I'm
Okay.
the brand ambassador for World Skills Africa in 2025. So
What? How cool is
come to
that?
Livingston with you kids.
Yeah. I'll hop right
Let's
on
go.
that plane.
Let's go. Come in.
Yeah.
I'm so in.
That's cool. Very cool. Oh wait, I got a great segue
Okay.
though, because you did say that they brought you around for your awesome, amazing jokes, and we heard something about a sailboat. So it's a good time to get this on the podcast, right?
I mean, my buddy is building sailboats in his attic. I'll tell you what, sales are through the roof.
But I need to have a little button here.
Love it. Love it.
Oh, now I don't remember what I was going to say.
We messed him up.
Oh my goodness. I lost it.
That's
it's
a
like
great
it
question.
literally,
Sorry,
yeah, that was a really good question. I'm glad you asked.
Totally trashed it.
Golly, that was funny. Good.
I have many more jokes. So while you gather yourself, I'll tell you this other one.
All right.
The Mortal Kombat song is actually from a church in Finland because it's a finish him.
That was awesome.
So I'm sorry to all your viewers, but yeah, this is how I entertain myself is with dumb jokes.
So cool. So cool.
Okay.
We digress.
All right. So, whew. All right. So, you have your foundations and stuff. And if you want other people to reach out to you or to help donate to those foundations or reach out in any way that they may be able to help, how can they do that?
Yeah, check me out at KayleenMcCabe.com. And then if you are inclined to participate with groups like Skills USA, I do have some folks who want to, figure out how to work with them. Start at your local level. Reach out to your schools, your local school to see if they have a chapter. If they don't, reach out to the state director. And sometimes, especially right now, time is as valuable as money. So think about volunteering. Read to your kids, read to other people's kids, go to schools and volunteer and read books because we really need to make reading a wonderful, wonderful thing. It's just not holding a phone. You're holding a book with words. But reach out to Kayleen McCabe. And then if you're interested in following anything I'm up to, I do post on Facebook and Instagram, but it's just me posting. And I fight with technology a lot. So you'll probably see more posts on Instagram than on Facebook because I can't figure out how to cross post.
Well, your lives are really good. Like I always see at your lives doing your during like all the skills events that you're at, you walk around the thing, you're like, hey, look at this really cool thing. Hey, look at this thing. Oh, look over here. You're like, oh, this is awesome. I'm here with my friends. We're over here doing bricks. I mean, it's really fun. And I actually got to follow you around at Tiva doing that, but then I also got to follow you around at the Skills Texas doing the same thing. I actually was your camera guy for the masonry day.
It's one of the few times, it's one of the few videos that when you watch it, folks, you'll see that I have both my hands because Brandon was holding the camera, and I was like, "Wow, this is so fancy!" But it's a pleasure to be able to share this stuff because, again, we need to celebrate what these students are up to. This notion that the generation in high school right now, they're terrible because they're on the internet, blah blah. No, they're not. They're real freaking smart. It just so happens that they speak cloud language and earth language, and we don't speak as much cloud language. We're all here, and they're going to adapt. They're really hungry. I'm now coming across some institutions that their enrollment for trade programs are in the thousands because students are finally clicking in, and the age is reducing. Where a lot of the trade programs, this average age was like 28 to 32. We're now starting to see that dip into 24. So, yeah. But yeah, find me on Kayleen McCabe at anything now. I own it all. Somebody tried to take that name from me, but I got it
Like,
back.
nope. We are seeing a whole lot of these trade schools, especially that are really making partnerships with the secondary education and offering all kinds of deals and everything. We actually just recently got to participate in a signing day where we had a skilled trade signing day. So we had students that were going not only into the trades, but if they were going to UTI or WyoTech or any of the trade schools as well, then we signed them over. And so that was really cool to see. Just them get the same recognition that the kid that signed, to go play baseball at Who's He What's It's University, So that was
Yes,
cool.
I love it. I was able to participate in a few signing days this year as well. And this national sort of momentum that we're seeing is really refreshing. When I started to speak to students, and this has been about 12 years ago now, I thought I was alone screaming into the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
And now this momentum that it's a national movement, we are celebrating this. It's something to be cherished. And not that playing sports isn't great, but I guarantee the students who participate with our signing days are going to make some pretty good money and have a
Mm-hmm.
great life too and be happy in what they're doing. So,
That's right.
yeah.
That is one thing with this generation I've seen is a lot more of the kids are foregoing college.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
I have a lot, and I'm an IT teacher, so and a lot of my kids are wanting to go into like computer engineering and things that you probably should go to college for or whatever. But some of them aren't. They're wanting to go work for AT&T and just become an installer and just work their way up through the ranks. And I mean, it's great to see that they're not going to be taking on that debt like I did and so many others did.
And the beauty of what we're doing and what you're doing is that they're seeing all the different aspects. So even a kid in construction, I've had several kids go straight into whether it be framers or commercial contractors or anything like that. Then I've got one right now that's getting her construction management degree. She was the one that was the valedictorian. She'll be a rock star. I mean, she'll be amazing. And she went to college, but it's the same field. And so being able to see, it's not just about going to college and getting a human services degree or whatever, and then going out into life. It's pick whatever track you want to take and then do the training you need for that track, whether that's in the field or whether that's in a college classroom, whatever that is, but go after what you love. Don't just go after that piece of paper.
Big time. And I really think that employers too in the future are going to value more on the job training and real-time skills over that, degree. And so like construction manager is amazing, but it's awesome that she also knows how gravity works in real life. You have to know how to talk and communicate on job sites.
Yep.
And, I've definitely been having conversations where we're trying to make the job site a little bit more friendlier and a little bit softer, but at some point you can't make it super cushy because I need to give sometimes you a little bit of fun, like go get the lumber stretcher.
Right.
It's not a bad thing. It's sometimes though you need to have this fun and kind of camaraderie or jostling around because this career path is dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
I need to also know that you know what you're doing, and sometimes by saying like go get a bucket of steam, it's gonna show me if you run off might be a little bit cooler than somebody else. So
Right.
it's chipping in, but yeah.
Well, and those jokes like that are little, I guess, hazing type jokes. Not really hazing, but just more fun. We used to do that in the video and TV. We'd always tell them to go get a box of color bars from the basement. And for one, the place didn't have a basement. Awesome. And or go get the chroma key for the gin lock, which is old school, but it was like you'd have kids looking around for like 4 hours looking for this thing.
That's
just
awesome.
fun and
Yeah,
games.
it's an okay rite of passage. It's something that we don't need to get rid of, and it also sometimes makes it fun because we used to giggle our brains out, and there's this beautiful noise that I crave in my head sometimes of the full working job site where you have the air compressor going and the nailer and something's hammering, somebody's yelling cut sheets, but then we're also giggling and singing songs together, and it's just this cacophony of noise that's so pleasant and a happy place to work.
It's a bunch of creators and a bunch of artisans that are just doing their thing, which is amazing.
Yes. Yeah.
Kayleen, I want to thank you for joining us. Just mad respect. Most speakers, I saw you speak at TIVA as well, and most presenters come in and they do their presentation, they leave. And Kayleen stayed with us the entire week, did all kinds of cool things, and you just every time you turned around, she was there. doing the same things we were doing, which was really cool. And so I think that's one thing I've learned to appreciate is that you're not just out there carrying the message, but you're living it as well. And so we just want to say thank you for that, and thank you for representing the kids and the programs that we're so passionate about as well.
And what I really appreciated was whenever you spoke, you didn't try to sell us a book. Because you get someone to speak, hey, go get our book. You know, it's just like, I mean, it's great. The book's probably good, but you know, one day you're gonna have a book and it's gonna be amazing and awesome.
Who was that guy?
Yeah, it's gonna be like the power of the mustache or something. I don't know what you're gonna do with it.
I actually already have my first book planned, and it's a little off the wall because I don't even want to give it away. Someday look forward to it. But thank you both for having me on, because I'm possessed by it. I'm really so passionate. I feel blessed constantly that I fell into this weird path backwards, and I'm able to authentically share it. Like, I've been in the shop all day. I told Brandon I was going to clean up. No, I didn't. I just put on a hat.
Perfect.
Proud of you. Couldn't tell.
So it really is a gift and a blessing, and thank you for letting me share it. And yeah, let's go, team.
Awesome. All right. Well, and thank you all for watching, and we will catch y'all next time.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
You can watch and listen to all episodes of the CTE podcast on Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube Podcast, and LubbockISDTV.com.